Hi Sujata. So we are on video finally. A lot of listeners have been calling me up and saying, why are we not doing this? But I think there's a time and place for everything. For our new listeners, my name is Bunty and I have an advertising background. I've been a writer for 25 years. 25 years of studying other people and selling to them. Now selling myself to myself, trying to study myself. Um, Hi Sujata, how would you describe your journey so far as a professional?
To answer your earlier question about being late to the party with Zoom, I think I wouldn't say we are fashionably late, but I think we take our own time in reaching where we have to. And that's how I would look at this new journey for connecting conversations. So, yeah, so like Bunty, my experience has also been largely around people in a different way. So I've been in recruitment for about 25 years now. And I started my career back in India, worked across, and I've been in the UK for the last 14 years. And I'm also training to be a counselor. So far, the journey has been about finding people their right career opportunities or getting them the job that they desire and touching lives differently. But I'm hoping once I qualify as a counselor, the journey will be actually delving deeper into people's mind and enabling them to discover more about themselves and go on to other things, I would say.
Hmm. I have never asked you this. Do you intend to continue both the things, being a counselor
Yes.
and you do?
That's the plan because in a way one thing feeds the other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's both related to people. I wouldn't call it a business. It's both related to people, and I think when you are self-employed, when you're doing something on your own, it's very possible, it's highly possible to be consistent with the ethics. I know consistency is
Hmm.
the
There is a-
topic of a discussion today, but I thought I'll just mention it here. So, yeah, I think it's just an extension of what I will be doing from recruitment into therapy. That's how I look at it. So, yeah, I plan to continue both of them.
Okay. I think we can, since you already mentioned the topic, we are trying to delve into a topic which is relevant to, I think, most of us. Specifically, I would definitely raise my hand if asked whether I'm inconsistent. So why is consistency so difficult? So difficult.
I think firstly, there's a lot of procrastination. I think it's the point between wanting to be consistent to doing something to finally getting into action is what I feel. Uh, because I'm sure most of us want to be consistent in so many things that we do every day, but it is always not possible, and more so at a time like this. Because there are other distractions, there are other pull and push factors, whether it's our own personal stuff, because sometimes when you want to be consistent, that being consistent is also tied to other people being involved in that activity, whether it is work or whether it is your personal commitments. But largely I feel it's probably inertia. One tends to get lazy, I would say. uh, but then again, it also depends what is it that one wants to really be consistent or inconsistent with, and how important that end result of that activity is for each of us, Bunty.
Mm, okay, we'll start with an example that was running in my mind when we thought we would cover this topic. Um, when we had to start doing household work due to the lockdown with our house help not coming. Initially, I think few days I took it up with a vengeance, and each and every corner of the house was spick and span. Um, After 3 4 days, I started saying, "Oh, this is too much of hard work. Let me avoid the corners that nobody gets into. Why do we get so fussy about behind the door or stuff like that?" Over a period, my ability to look at it with more objectivity, trying to do things in a proper manner, had certain days where I was good, and I kept a basic benchmark that I would not slack off in the mind. Uh, and yet, if you were to be asked, there were days where for 2 or 3 days I would just not do it at all, just getting caught up with
Mm.
something or the other. So while I have the excuse of that I was doing some work, I wasn't sitting and faffing around, and but I know of other friends who are equally dedicated to all the things that they pick up. So if we were to try and delve deeper, um, I would think it was slacking off, to be very honest, at a point where I felt okay, this is not the kind of job that I want to do. So I get a chance, I have some work, so that helps me wriggle out of the commitment to help the household with what work I do not like. So the idea is the mind does not like it. Uh,
Okay.
would you look at it like that?
Yes and no, because since you particularly gave the example of starting off doing things domestically, and because of COVID and not having that, support coming in every day, etc. So for me, it is a bit different because here in the UK, we don't have all those luxuries, right?
Yeah,
Uh, you get what I mean?
I know,
So I do have a cleaning lady who comes once a week, but cleaning your house once a week is just not enough. And I think back home, you guys are in a family, larger family. There are people. If you drop the ball one day, or maybe 2 or 3 days, somebody else will pick it up. So you know that at the back of your mind, you may be told off, you may be said you're not doing anything. There will be those noises in the background, but eventually somebody will pick it up. Whereas in my case, I know that there is nobody who's going to pick it up.
okay,
You get my point. So there are, I think, I tend to be consistently inconsistent depending upon how that activity is going to affect others. Like cooking, for example. I'm the only one who cooks in the family. My husband doesn't know how to cook, but my daughter does help me around it. So if I decide, okay, I'm not going to make lunch today, I know all the three of us will go hungry. So whether I like it or not, I have to be consistent daily in my cooking.
okay. But that is something I am talking about. Like this, I had to pick up, and I had a choice. When
Yeah,
when we do not have a choice, I like the fact that you demarcated the two things absolutely differently from each other. Because when you have a choice, that is the point where you tend to get
yeah.
lethargic, or you choose to do or not. So my question to you specifically is, would you pick up an example? I gave an example that pertains to me, but if you had to
Hmm.
pick up an example where one wants to exercise daily, or one wants to create art daily, the things that are useless, uh, or maybe just pertaining to you, and there's no pressure, how would you
Yeah,
delve deeper into something like that?
I mean, that's a good point because I was pretty consistent with my daily walk up until last week. And then suddenly I just stopped and I'm unable to restart now. In my head, I tell myself I need to get up and go for my walk in the morning, but I'm not doing it for the last week or so. Probably because me not going for a walk is not going to have an impact on anybody else other than me. So there is a choice here to, just give it up and, beat yourself, of course, but you know that it's not going to impact others.
So
How?
if you had to go deeper into that, if you had to change it, the point of decision where you decide, oh, I am not picking it up today.
Hmm.
um, I think one of the things I have realized, it just came to me, is the first time you break that thing
Hmm.
is you allow it an entry, and then it starts to get difficult. The first day that you decide, oh, today I won't go for a walk because my anyway I am tired, I had a late night, or I'm just
Whatever. Hmm.
or something. That entry point just compromises your mind very deeply. Is it
Yeah,
resonate with?
I do. Absolutely, I do. I do tell myself why I didn't go. I do make up for it in a different way. And then next day again, I tell myself, oh, I'm going to wake up 15 minutes early and probably make up for the last 1 week's no walking. But yeah, I haven't been able to do that after the 2nd of June. I've not done anything actually. So yeah.
So how does one that make that a priority in our lives, that we will not let ourselves off again off being, because there's no punishment for it, but since we are the ones who've decided that walking or uh, going to the gym or any such thing is of use to us, and
Hmm.
yet we are not picking it up as a responsibility, uh, as a responsibility, if one were to call it that. So would that be a concern, that we are not allowing ourselves the liberty to make a good choice about ourselves?
Yeah, I think once in a while it's okay to drop the ball, isn't it?
Hmm. It is. It
I
is.
feel, yeah, I feel once in a while it's okay to drop the ball, because at the end of the day, maybe the time that you don't do something, you're probably utilizing to think over something or something of that kind, is what I would say. Maybe prioritizing something, because I used to come into the office pretty much every day up until the COVID thing happened, and I didn't come to the office for almost 9 weeks, because I knew I couldn't go and I didn't have a need because my business scenario had also changed. But now I've been back in the office since last week and I try to be here at least 4 days a week. And the reason I'm consistent with that is because I know it's going to have an impact.
Okay. So are we saying, if we were to look at the benefits and evaluate it in light of those, that if you are consistently walking, you will have a certain quality of health, and keep looking at that benefit, the the self carrot, if I were to call it,
Yeah,
would that help?
I would imagine so. It's usually what it is at the end of whatever you're trying to do, right?
Hmm.
Whether it's an activity for yourself or people that are dependent on you. And I think I would like to believe that most of us would choose to slack off things which are not that impactful.
Uh,
Like I'm sure with the COVID situation, there are days when nobody wants to get up and do much, but then we just try and get it together and go ahead, because not attending that work call or not being part of that conference call or video discussion is not an option. So I think if there is an option not to do something, that's where I think the inconsistency
Enters in.
rears its head. Yeah, yeah. I think it just stuck me. If there is no option, we might as well do it. We do it. If there is an option, then we feel okay, it's fine. We can probably make up for it some other time, or it's not going to be that impactful.
So my question to you is, if we delve deeper at this point, where we realize that the inconsistency arises sheerly because of our choice, can we
Mm-hmm.
bring in an aspect of making it a compulsion to ourselves? Is there a way to motivate ourselves to start seeing it in a new light? I'm just thinking aloud because I don't have a plan in mind in terms of, oh, this is the thought, but because we've never seen it like that.
I feel nothing should be a compulsion. There has to be some kind of flexibility in what one does daily. It has to be flexible. It cannot be that rigid.
Okay, so where does one draw the line between what flexibility is allowed for oneself and not? Is there something like that?
It is to each his own, right?
To each his own. But I'm saying now we are trying to mull over if there is a methodology that one can adopt for our own selves, and maybe just speak it aloud. So if somebody wants to pick it up, they can.
Uh, I think it's about balancing it out as well. Like I'll tell you, like because I've not been going for my walk every day, I probably become more mindful about what I eat, because I know, I mean, I would do about 5K walks every day, right?
Okay.
So the way I try to balance it out is I try not to have a very heavy dinner. So that's my way of telling me, okay, I've not burnt that X number of calories and I'm not obsessive about these things. But that's my way of balancing it out, saying, okay, I'm not able to go for a walk, but I'm mindful about what I eat. So that kind of evens it out. So, or you tell yourself, okay, there is a given activity that you have to do every day, whether it is walking or cooking for the family or whatever it could be. I mean, activities that are negotiable in terms of having some kind of inconsistency.
Okay.
Uh, Maybe you say, okay, fine, uh, I'll probably be consistent 4 days a week, and 1 day a week flack is allowed, or something of that kind.
Okay.
A cheat day, or 2 days of cheating, or something like that.
That's a good idea. But I would also go back to the first point that you made, because that's interesting. If one were to study the mind a bit, where you're talking about um, doing something else which still fulfills the same purpose. So
Kind
you're
of,
telling that,
yeah.
are we training the mind to say this is important to me, and I should not let go of this core thought. The activity might change, because it might be
Mm,
you're unwell, for example, or you have some other duties at home. The guests come over and you can't go for your walk, or there is some other stuff that you have to take care of. But not letting go of the thought that this is important to me. Do you think that's going to help a lot in being consistent over a period of time? Because that is
I
where
would s-
lethargy would come, no?
I would say so. Like I said earlier, I mean, I think I think for most of us, the intent is there to be consistent in whatever we do or what is expected of us personally and professionally, given the times that are the way it is right now. But I think if there's some kind of flexibility in terms of telling your mind, okay, fine, you've been doing this consistently for the last few days, whatever those activities are, and you haven't done it, or you don't want to do it. See, it's also about not being able to do something and not wanting to do something as well.
Okay.
The two things, right? I know I'm going a bit off topic here,
It
but
is.
it just occurred to me that okay, I've been walking every day in the morning, whatever I've been doing. I want to do it, but I don't want to do it today. I don't feel like it.
Okay.
So you got to allow yourself that flack as well, right? Slack as well, right?
Yeah, I think one odd day is fine, or 2 odd days, or maybe a little time that you take out. Um, I will go a little deeper in the thought
Of course.
by a thought that came to me about when we practice our meditation. Very
Mm,
often, there are certain hindrances that the Buddha has talked about. So those hindrances include something called sloth. And as you go forward, one of the things, even when we go on these residential courses which demand us to wake up early, a lot of us are not used to the idea. So we are told, we are reminded of this fact even in long courses, that these are some things that would come on the path, uh,
mm,
in the sense of studying the mind, uh, which is what the objective of our talks is to reach most of the time. However successful we are or not, the idea is to figure
mm,
out what are these journeys of the mind, and which are uh, conducive to our development, and which are
mm,
creating issues um, that will hinder our progress. So I
mm,
think if we keep these two things in mind, our overarching need to do something, why we started that particular activity that we are slacking off on now,
mm.
and the second being realizing that we will be human about it. We will have off days, we will have moods, we will
Yeah.
have issues, but the checkpoint, uh, like I realized with my own self when I was just discussing with you about the household work, that I had work to do, but internally the mind wanted to slack off. So it got a chance to do something that was more intellectually stimulating than actually keeping the house clean or stuff like that. So, so the mind is where the thing lies for me, which is the decision point. If I manage to correct that point somewhere, correct is a very strong term, but at least
It is,
this is where it is arising. So at least
yeah,
awareness solves, I think, 50% of the issue.
yeah. I just feel there has to be some flexibility with whatever one decides to do in a day, whether it is work or with other commitments, or if say if you're expected to, I don't know if this is a good example, but uh, it's like trying to find that midway point, I guess, right? I mean,
Yeah,
uh, I mean, it's what that's what you're telling your mind, right? I mean, I
yeah,
think we're
yeah.
trying to say the same thing here. It's like it's what you tell your mind. Okay, I'm somebody who cooks every day, every single day, right? And it's usually your regular roti, sabji, whatever, right? Indian stuff most of the days. So one day I don't feel like cooking, but I still have to do it. I'll probably tell myself, okay, I'll do something different, maybe chutney sandwich or something, and just give it a glamorous spin by putting some packet of chips and stuff like that. I'm still saying, okay, we are not gone hungry, but I've still done what I could do. So it's like finding the midway point in any activity, I think, and also telling yourself, okay, I've not entirely dropped the ball today.
Yeah, I think that is important. While one is looking at sloth, the example that I gave, there is also the need not to overdo things, because once you get fanatical about an idea, then sometimes there was this very interesting book called uh, I think Dante's Equation, something like that, by a lady called Jane Jensen. So there were a couple of pages where which talk about the Kabbalah, and there was this system of uh, finding the midpoint. So one of the examples I remember is about how to reprimand your kid, or how to love your kid. So if you love him or her too much, you
Mm.
end up spoiling him. But if you reprimand them too much, then you land up hindering their progress as individuals. And
Okay.
almost every point had that thing. What is good, if you stretch it, then starts to become bad, and what is bad has to be nullified with good intentions, good words, good actions. And I think the mind is like a kid. You've got to keep on cajoling it, coaxing it, figuring out how to keep on coming back to the topic that you've chosen for yourself. It could be anything,
Yeah.
because the wanderings of the mind don't need all of this. If you decide to watch a movie every day, I don't think it comes ever to a point where you're saying, yeah, I've had enough, because the mind is wandering. It has novelty every day. But any kind of
Yeah.
consistency is going to require a certain sense of discipline and, I guess, determination, because that is
Hmm.
between good and great, I would think.
Yeah, yeah, I think I get what you mean, but I think it's the same thing, right? Whether it is parenting or anything, I think at the end of the day, it is finding that midway point, and it is pretty relative as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are days. There are days. See, the I guess even in the, if you were not doing the cooking, for example, if you were the only one who were, I know of people who, when they have to cook for themselves, they let go of the meal also. There are people who stay alone and they just decide, girls or guys, it
Yeah,
doesn't, they
yeah,
decide today
yeah,
I don't want to eat, I'm not hungry anymore. Now that is the point where you got to catch yourself, because you're actually slacking off and hurting yourself.
hmm,
If you figure out a midpoint and say, okay, one off day, obviously it will still happen. You have to take that into consideration, that we are not machines. There will be moods, they will catch hold of you, but that they don't happen often. I liked what you said about, I do something else, I have a light dinner. The example being obviously mundane because it's an everyday thing, but I think the thought behind it is quite good, because you're telling your mind,
hmm,
your body is telling your mind that I think it is important. So you're not going to get one thing because you have not done another thing. You're chastising
hmm,
your mind in a very mild way, if one were to call it. If we do not do that, then the mind, I think, will want to slack off almost every day, given a choice.
Exactly. Yeah, I think a very interesting thought just occurred to me based on what you just said earlier.
Hmm.
I think it is also about what motivates you to do that activity consistently. It also is connected to a lot to motivation, I would say, whether it is cooking a tasty meal or finishing a project on time or submitting a report or whatever it is. I think as much as it is the end result, it is also the motivation behind doing something. That's what I felt as I heard you
Hmm.
talk in the last few minutes.
Yeah.
um,
Motivation, do you mean, okay, I'm breaking down the word motivation into, would you want to look at it as umbrella motivation and daily motivation as two different things? If the umbrella motivation is taken care of, the overarching theme of your life is in your, or life, or rather that action itself. Okay, this is what I'm intending to achieve. I want to become, like, I'm sure now that you want to, you're on your way to becoming a counselor. There will be days when you would not want to listen to other people's problems because you are in a mindset which will not help you at that point of time. But suppose you also are clear about certain things that no, I need to be there because this is important. So you will. There is always a figure out the midpoint. The midpoint is not one midpoint that you set in stone and say every now and then we are going to be only this. Even the midpoint, like you said, is variable depending
it
upon
is.
depending upon.
Yeah.
That's where the umbrella
Yeah.
motivation counts. Okay, yes, I am still continuing on the path. I still intend to help people. I still am being a counselor, or I'm still on my way to becoming the richest man in the world, if that is what somebody's motivation is. But unless one is little crazy about that thing, life does put some kind of hindrance or obstacle every now and then. I would think that is also a point. And it starts with the mind again. What we see as
Yes.
hindrance, somebody else may not see as an hindrance at all.
Yes, I think that's a very good point you made. But then again, I think I'll go back to the point of saying that there are things that are also not negotiable, right?
Exactly.
So, this umbrella motivation theory is very interesting because, uh, okay, let me just articulate it a bit differently. I think it also depends how doing or not doing an activity or being consistent about it, what does it do to your soul? Okay, how does that feed you? Like if I have to make a choice between talking to a client, whether it is my recruitment business or my client on the therapy side, I think either of them are non-negotiable for me because it's just not an activity. It is something that I identify with and I enjoy doing it.
Okay. Can you
You
can
get my point?
yeah, but can you go a little deeper? What do you mean? I just want to be sure that this is the point you're making.
Okay, because I feel like either of these two things for me, Bunty, they are not negotiable at all because these are the two activities that pretty much defines what I do in a day. And if I get these two things right, uh, everything else falls in place for me. Like if I have to show you my diary, I have it in three sections. I have one section for work, one section for study, which is my counseling thing, and the third section is home. So for me, it has to go ideally in that order. So so if I'm able to, and I know I will not drop the ball unless it is a situation which is out of my control or if the client decides or whatever. But I will always try my best and be ready in terms of delivering things consistently when it comes to these two areas in my life.
Are you saying that it gives you let me just articulate what I have been thinking, if that's what you're saying. Are you saying that there is a sense of fulfillment
Oh, yes.
that is unlike
Yes.
any other sense of fulfillment that you get from other jobs? So if one is reminded of that, so there will be drudgery even in that job. I'm sure that your job vis-a-vis both the jobs, some days there will be There will be no excitement in it. There will be no immediate kick that you get out of it. But just the fact that you're doing something that you like, that you love, you will go through that day saying, "Okay, it's okay."
Yes. Yes, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way, see, for me, when I'm at work or when I'm talking to clients, that's when I come alive. For me, that's the key part of my day, right? And I will try it because that dictates the other things. So for all you know, and I'm a chronic list maker. So if I know that I've ticked off a few things in both these areas, probably my family will get a 7 course meal, or they can have bloody 2 minute Maggie, you know. So the first two things are highly connected to the other activities, I would say.
Okay,
So yeah.
a little off topic, just because you of what you mentioned. You want to complete your point?
I know. No, to your point, there will be days when you may not want to do something. It would be boring or whatever. But over a period of time, the last so many years, I've realized if I have done few things at work that needs to be done, it has a direct effect, a positive effect on the rest of the activities or the rest of the roles that I'm expected to perform or play or that I want to do. So that's how I would look at it. Have I
Okay.
confused you?
No, in fact, you took me off track, but you made a very pertinent point that might be the answer to the question that our listener actually asked us to cover. You mentioned uh, the point that if I do what needs to be done, uh, I was reminded of a quote which says the only immorality in the world is not to do what needs to be done at that moment. I think that kind of frees us from the likes and
Hmm.
dislikes bit and brings it to a balance where you have to do things. Uh, if one reaches that mindset about about most of the things, or at least quite a few of the things that one is doing daily, like you said, maybe even if you don't get chance to note them down, or like off late, I realize I have a anger problem very often, which erupts when
Do
I,
you?
which which erupts very suddenly most of the time. But on a daily basis, one is also trying to develop a sense of kindness because of the situation that we find ourselves in. Uh, this series of podcasts or the values workshop itself started where I spent a lot of time struggling with what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
This reminds me uh, of a time that one day I just sat down to cry literally because I just could not manage this whole new social media that I had to take care of, and Instagram, and I was off Facebook for most of the time except for reading jokes and just playing Candy Crush. But because I wanted to do this, and the overarching theme was that I want to give back to society, I will have to pick up a subject that they are comfortable with rather than my own comfort. So because it needs to be
Yeah.
done. And once I picked it up, I realized people are kinder to me than I have ever been to anybody. And then the circle has fell in its own motion. I think it frees you if you get into that mindset where you're trying to do things because they need to be done rather than because you want to do them or not do them. Could perhaps be this habit itself, because if you realize 5 days down the line I have not done my walking, tomorrow hell or high water, I will do the walk. For example, I'm not forcing you to take the walk, but yeah, matlab something like that. You motivate yourself. And one of the things I used to do when I was younger, obviously that time I had a lot more determination to succeed in whatever I took up, was the fact that there was this fanatical need uh, to tick things in my mind, if not in my on my list. I need to, because I have decided 10 things. The sense of achievement at the end of the day was humongous, and it might
Hmm.
not necessarily be things that you like. Maybe you were supposed to go and pay the bill for electricity or gas or something, and you had to go and stand up in some very long queue, but you had finished it. So
Yeah.
there was a tick on a list which was not likable, but nevertheless
Hmm.
achieved it. I think one has to trick the mind into following one's diktat rather than doing whatever the mind wants, because there's no end to what the mind wants.
No, absolutely. No, I think I agree to that point of it. Like when I do things in a day, which is, I mean, when you're self-employed, like the two of us are, we
Hmm.
decide our boundaries and we decide how much time we put in, don't we? So there will be days in a week where we are super productive, and there will be days when we are not, even if we want to. But I guess eventually do we do balance it out, because you know that you don't have a choice of not being
Consistent.
consistently inconsistent, because that is what feeds your soul and literally feeds everything else as well, right? So
Absolutely.
you not dusting that corner in the sofa or on top of the TV will not really
Pay your bills.
uh, be life changing. But I think if you don't, I guess for you as well, it is probably, you know, working in the area that you enjoy the most, whether it is attending to clients or having your mad creative moment at the most unexpected of times. Or maybe you may get your mad creative moments when you are dusting. So maybe it complements both the activities, right?
This is a wonderful point you made, because um, yeah, inspiration strikes you when you're working.
Yes,
Very, very often
yes.
when you're just lethargic, so I think we are all sitting down and wasting a lot of time on social media or in front of the idiot box. I think the idiot box has been replaced by this little thing in our hands, and it keeps following us wherever we go. And yeah, I think it takes away a lot of your time, and not
It
always,
does.
not always it is a good thing. I think we need this. That's why I think we've started calling it detoxifying ourselves. Hello, we made it
Oh
toxic.
yeah. Yeah, I think now there are holiday packages being sold where there is no Wi-Fi. I mean, imagine, right? You're actually paying to go for a holiday where you're not in touch with people. Uh, I mean, I just had a full-on week last week, and I'm not on social media. I mean, I'm not on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and whatever else. But I do have a WhatsApp group. I mean, I am active on WhatsApp, but not very active. And I just decided over the weekend that I don't want any background noises. So I just uninstalled my WhatsApp, and I had so much time after Saturday afternoon to do nothing. I could pick up some other bits. I read. I stitched some stuff that we've been looking at each other for the last few weeks. Only because I'm not distracted by messages, and I do that every once in a while, anyways. I mean, if I go for my practice and stuff like that. But I just decided I'm not going to be on any kind of group discussions for whatever time, and nothing has fallen apart.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
This discipline will require some kind of sacrifice if
yeah.
we want to cover that aspect. Do you think we've gone for long enough? We need to sum up of some sort, or we need to continue the conversation?
I feel we probably covered pretty good ground, and I think we. I also ended up going a bit off peak, I think.
I,
Uh, but I somehow felt it was kind of all relevant and tied into whatever we were talking in consistency, motivation, rewarding yourself. It's all interrelated, isn't it?
yeah, I think the last point I would want to bring up is it will always demand some kind of sacrifice. Uh, Without that, maybe of any kind of inclination that you have, okay, you're feeling tired, but you still do it. The sense of achievement will compensate for that. Or else,
Yeah.
if nothing else, you know that you have told your mind that I am the master for a little while more than allowing it to have its whims and fancies, and which is a very strong deterrent in fulfilling your any role that you're playing in life, I guess. I think
Yeah, absolutely.
kind of agree that a bit of discipline, figuring out how to cope, cajole, inspire your mind.
And what that activity is.
I think that in the overarching, I in fact like the very first point that you made. The activity by itself is, if one were to go deeper and figure out why is that activity being done, uh,
Mm.
like you're trying to be healthy. So instead of the walk, you're going easy on your food. I think once in a
Yes.
while that can be allowed. I love the overarching part. It's actually a favorite of mine, and I'm a favorite theory of mine that um, meditation. We realize that I think a lot of my friends are struggling to keep up daily practice, and I can be a bit of a nag on that one. But I keep telling them of the times that I used to find it very difficult, and you you figure out, okay, I'll do shorter spurts of meditation. I'll
Yes.
determine,
Yeah.
thinking, okay, I have not moved for 20 minutes, so now I can try 25 minutes. So some kind of shorter
Yeah.
of fulfilling the goal should
Yeah.
work in most cases. But I think to each his,
Yeah.
of course, people need to contemplate deeply on what their life is going to be about, because these are the very moments that decide who you are, what you are going to be.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Very relative. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So while
Good.
one can be inconsistent once a while, the
And
moral
you
of,
should be, I feel.
I think, yeah, that gives you you're not a machine. That bracket is is good for us to reconcile, cross check whether what we need is exactly what we are moving towards. I think yes, you were right when you said we can mull over. But as long as the overall theme is okay, this is where I have been wanting to go, where there is no negotiation because you already know where you want to go, and it's
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think if I may just sum it up very quickly, Bunty, I think so. Say if one is doing or expected to do five things in a day, and out of which maybe three of them are not negotiable because those three feed into the other two bits. And I think as long as you're able to do those three bits and you're not able to do those two ones, I think which is fine, right? So rather than having 10 things on a to-do list in a given day, if you get it down to five and you say, okay, I have five things to do, but I'm going to do three, which are absolutely important, and the two I will not be able to do or I don't want to do, and you should be fine with it. So
yeah.
yeah,
I think also chances are that you may eventually land up doing the fourth or the fifth, or just for the heck of it, because the three made you happy, which is the point you made earlier.
exactly. Yeah, or you may even
It's
do
the
more than
habit,
five, right?
it's the new habit that has been formed.
Exactly. Yeah,
I think, yeah. Once we come to agreement, I think it's a good place to stop the talk.
I know. And that hasn't happened much in the recent past, has it?
No, I think this is a good talk because we were absolutely unscripted. I've been told by many people that we can do better, but I have liked the fact that we are not prepared for it and it hits us as much
Yeah.
as anyone. And I think on video, the number of hours and ums have come down, hopefully. So it's a little more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I genuinely had a good time. It's a new experience, and let's see if it works with everyone. How did you find this?
Yeah, a bit innovative, and I'm still struggling where to see whether I should look at the camera, look at you, look somewhere else. So I'm struggling with that. I struggle with most of my video calls, but other than that, I think it's nice. I think when you know that you're looking at somebody and talking, there's a comfort level, isn't it? It's just not the voice.
Yeah,
So it's good, I would say. Yeah, I think
good.
we should do more of this.
Yeah, we'll try. Let's see how this comes
Yeah,
out. Shall
yeah.
see.
It's all about telling your mind, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We'll try and be
All
consistent
right.
on video.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, you can have the last word, Bharti.
Bye.
All right. Good. Yeah. Good, good. Catch up soon. Bye.
Bye.